welcome to the Clown Brother Show, episode 4, Batman Returns. I am Scudder the Clown, and I am so excited to continue on this series of movies with the Batman.
Well, Scudder, I am as well, because we are reviewing Batman Returns. That came out in 1992, can you believe it? And I'm just so excited to have a hero again, the Batman, for the second time. Isn't this just great? We will be doing more movie reviews, and we have the Batman.
True, and this time around we have a new villain that we will be following, the Penguin, which will be so exciting to see a new person take on the Batman.
Yes, Scudder, and I'm so excited because it is a continuation from Batman 1989, so I'm so excited to see what happened with Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne.
Obviously they broke up, but we shall go to the synopsis to talk more about that. Are you ready, Reddo, to start this off?
Hopefully not, Scudder, but I will start this off with a synopsis where we start with the Cobblepot family, and they are birthing a new child into the world. Oh, such a great sequence of events in life. But then they realize that the child is disformed and kind of a monster, so they do the worst thing possible. They send the kid off down the river into the sewers. Isn't that just so terrible, Scudder?
I mean, not really. I mean, if you look at the scene before that, the kid eats the cat or something to the cat. I don't know what that kid did to that cat, but it's a sick thing. I mean, I'm not an animal lover, but still. But I guess if the cat was really a jerk, I guess there's no problem in eating that kind of an animal. Then we have the fact that, did you notice that the dad was actually Pee Wee Herman? I mean, I was surprised when we were watching that for the umpteenth time to see that. I mean, I wasn't expecting a scene like that.
Neither was I, but then we follow the basket as it goes through the sewers and ends up with a bunch of penguins at the zoo. I mean, I can't believe that there's penguins there. But then, years later, we go to Gotham City where they're lighting the tree because it just happens to be Christmas time, the best time of the year.
Nah, Reddo, that is Halloween. But after that, then we are introduced to some of our characters we will be following. We have Selina Kyle, who happens to be a secretary for this guy named Max Shrek, who has this big corporation, who happens to have the logo be some kind of cat thing. I mean, I don't know why.
Well, the logo definitely is a cat, but then we go to the scene where you learn that this Max Shrek character, he wants to build a new power plant in Gotham because he quote-unquote wants to give more power to the people. And then his secretary says, I have something, but she's shot down, and then he has to go give a speech to all the people because they call him the Santa Claus. He's some like big beneficiary or something in Gotham. So we have that, but then there's an attack.
Yes, and this attack is led by the Penguin. Now, he doesn't go there personally, but he's the one in charge of this circus gang of crooks and criminals, like, you know, evil clowns and a blowtorch guy.
Yes, and once the attack starts, the police call the bat signal, and it goes to Bruce Wayne's house, and it's like a light shines into his face, and then you see Bruce Wayne stand up with the bat symbol behind him, and he goes and he gets ready, and he drives down there, the Batmobile. The Batmobile, the 19 Batmobile. Oh, it's just so perfect. I mean, I just can't handle it.
Yeah, I know how much you love that Batmobile. I mean, it's a cool toy and all, you know. But then also we have this Selina Kyle character forgetting to give her boss a speech, so she comes down there during the attack. While all these criminals are coming in there, and they seem like they're coming after Max Shrek to kidnap him for some reason. Who knows why at this point?
And then Batman shows up, and he starts beating up all the criminals like he always does. You know, knocks them over, and he's just taking them all out with the Batmobile itself. He's not even having to go out there and fight them for the first half of the fight. You know, it should be Batman being Batman. Isn't it great to see Batman being Batman?
True, but, I mean, he does set some guy on fire with the Bat engine. I mean, that's kind of a gruesome scene. I would do the same thing if I had a Batmobile, you know.
Well, Batman doesn't kill people. I keep telling you this, Scudder, but you never listen to me. So we will go back to the storyline where one of the goons with a taser grabs Selina Kyle, and Batman has to come and save her by knocking the criminal out with his bat grapple into a wall and knocking him out.
Yeah, poor Selina Kyle, she's so awkward, but she's very attractive, especially later on.
Well, okay, but then we move on to Batman has beaten up all the criminals, but Max has escaped and he's run off, and they don't know where he is, and that's when the Penguin kidnaps him and takes him to his secret layout in the sewer zoo.
I still don't know how the sewer is connected to the penguin pet of the zoo, but that's kind of weird. And the fact that the zoo looks like it's been shut down for years, I don't know. I do hope so, because it's a pretty, villainous location. I mean, I would set up shop there. I'm just saying.
Well, it is so sad that the penguins because they're connected to the sewer water, so they get all the chemicals and different compounds that are put down there, and it's just sad. I mean, I just love animals so much, and I just don't want to see them hurt. But we're moving on with the storyline. Penguin is introduced, and he brings Max down there, and he wants him to help him become part of the world again, you know?
Yeah, and Max he's got a lot of illegal crap. And the Penguins has figured this all out because he does live in the sewers. Like, the chemicals that are being sent down there, the sewage waste, like the chemical waste. And then you had all the documentation that was shredded that the Penguin put back together. And then you also had the dead body that, Max made disappear, but the Penguin found.
Oh, yes, the body point. I mean, I couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Oh, my goodness. I just, after the Squid Games, I mean, I just was in a very dark place.
Reddo, what's that stuffed animal doing in your hand? Why do you have it here right now?
Well, Scully, because of the Squid Games, I've had to get a comfort animal to make myself feel better and safe in this situation with all this dark stuff going on.
Wait a second, so you have a comfort animal? I mean, how old are you, Reddo? Are you like 5? You need a comfort animal to get through this movie, really?
Why, yes, this is Big Red, the gorilla. I love him so much, and he is such a great comfort animal.
He's just a stuffed animal. He's not a real animal. And you really named him after like a soda company, really?
Well, Scully, it is my favorite soda company because it has the word red in it. I do love the word red. It is my favorite color and word. Also, I tried to get a real gorilla, but they wouldn't allow me to have the one as a comfort animal. It was pretty sad for me. I mean, I tried. And they also said that I couldn't dye it red. I would have loved to have an actual red gorilla.
Oh, so all you're saying is you really just wanted a pet at the end of the day, not really a comfort animal. You just want a pet. I wish people would just say they want pets. And you know what's actual real comfort? It is this Southern comfort.
Scully, are you really drinking now? You said we would not drink while we're recording. Gosh. Oh my goodness. I guess, you know what? I'm done with this. I'll just go back to the storyline. So after he's kidnapped and Max makes a deal with the Penguin, and then they do this whole scheme to get the Penguin out to the public.
Well, as we're going back to the story, I'll also bring up that the Penguin has all these cool umbrellas that do more different kinds of things. Some are bullets. Some was supposed to be like a hypnotizing one, but it's just to give you a headache. All that good and happy and fun stuff. But after that, we go to Selena Kyle's house where she has an apartment and she is just a sad person. I mean, I just really feel for people like that, especially women.
Obviously, Scully, you're just saying that because you're attracted to her. But moving on, she realizes that she must go back to her work and prepare for a meeting between her boss and Bruce Wayne, which will involve the power plant situation. And that is when she stumbles upon, because she uses her boss's password, which happens to be the name of his chihuahua that is stuffed, and sees all the files about what it really is, and the power plant's actually to be sucking power from Gotham and storing it all for himself, which is just such a dastardly thing. I cannot believe it.
Yes, and then after Selena Kyle figures all this out, her bot, Max Shrek, pushes her out the window and she falls and dies, suspectedly. And then a bunch of cats appear and then they do some kind of weird cat voodoo crap. I don't know what it is, and then she's back to life. And after that, she goes back to her apartment and starts tearing it apart and turning her crazy because she, I guess, was dead and now she's alive. So now she's turning into an evil cat person. I really don't know why. But I do know she becomes very attractive.
Well, okay, Scully, you can over there and have your little fantasies, but I will get back to the storyline at hand. The mayor's son is then kidnapped by a member of the circus gang who happens to be an acrobat, and then he is quote-unquote saved by one of the Penguin, who then reveals himself to all the world, and this was all a plot by Max and the Penguin to reveal him. And then Bruce Wayne sees on the TV all that it transpires, and he figures out that there's something wrong here, and that he must figure out why.
Right, and then Max allows it because he is a very powerful figure in the city, the Penguin, to go into the record room and look through all the birth certificates to hopefully find out who his parents are. But then Bruce Wayne figures out he must already know and has something else in mind.
Why, yes, and then the Penguin reveals himself as Oswald Cobblepot, whose parents have happened to have died years earlier. And at this time, Bruce Wayne is starting to figure out that the Penguin is the leader of the circus gang that is terrorizing Gotham. And this leads us to the meeting where Bruce Wayne and Max Shrek meet up, and Bruce is not with the project of the power plant because because of Max's dealings with the Penguin, who he believes to be the leader of the circus gang.
And then Selena Kyle shows up to her work after her boss pushed her out of the window. That has to have been a great shock to him, but also to Bruce Wayne because he is swooned by this woman who just happened to appear in front of him, and I guess he's single now. Oh, and I almost forgot, earlier on, Catwoman made her first appearance, who happens to be Selena Kyle. They're the same person if you haven't figured it out already, but she made her first appearance in a black leather. Oh.
Why does your mind always go to that Scullo? But, wait, where's Vicky Vale? I mean, weren't they in a relationship in the last one, and now he's like single? What happened?
Well, Reddo, it is the logical thing. They didn't work things out, so they broke up, and now Bruce Wayne is on the market. And this guy, I mean, he just gets attractive woman after attractive woman after attractive woman. I mean, I wish that I had any of that same luck. I mean, just look at me. Aren't I attractive? Well, at least, I think I am.
Well, Scullo, I guess we'll just get back to the storyline, but I guess we can have a new love story between Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle now, since Vicky Vale, I guess, is out of the picture. But, I'm always for love stories, no matter what. I just wish that, sometimes in movies, that the action movies, they would just work out, so that we don't end the situation where there's a new love interest involved. I mean, I'm getting tired of them always having new love interests every single time.
I know, Reddo, but moving on, we go to the fact that Max has this genius idea where, since Cobblepot is becoming the new hero of Gotham, he's gonna push him to be mayor because he wants him to push the power plant through so that he may suck the power from Gotham. But the Penguin has his own agenda, but then he realizes that he could take back his titles, everything that was lost to him when his parents threw him into the sewers.
Why, yes, and then Max wants him to use his circus gang to throw all kinds of chaos and anarchy all over Gotham. I mean, I can't take all this chaos and destruction. I mean, all that we have watched is negative stuff. I just want some happy stories. Can we just please have some happy stories in this? I mean, why not?
Because, number one, they're not usually that entertaining, but then this leads to a scene where Batman starts beating up all of the circus people because they're attacking Gotham, and it leads to the scene where Batman meets the Penguin for the first time, and then Catwoman shows up and she blows up her boss is one of his convenience stores because she's all angry and pissed off, but she's so hot.
Well, Scully, you should get this all off of your mind. It's just as bad as the Penguin in this movie. I'm making all kinds of sexual comments and whatnot. But then we have this battle between Catwoman and Batman, where it ends with there's an attraction there, but they just keep fighting. It's a little bit of a romantic thing. I mean, I guess I'm kind of interested if there wasn't so much violence involved,
And then after this fight, Catwoman goes to the Penguin and asks for his help to destroy Batman because he is getting in the way of her fun. So they hatch a plan to get the Batman out of their way and out of all of their business.
Well, then Selena and Bruce meet on the street, and then they decide that they want to do a date that night, even though that there will be a relighting of the tree because it was destroyed when the circus gang went and blew up the tree. Like, they shot it up, which caused all kinds of damage, so they're gonna relight the tree. I'm so excited for new tree lightings.
Yeah, but while they're going to go on that little date thing, the Penguin kidnaps the showgirl or whatever she is that's gonna light up the tree because she, I guess, is kind of an actress, quote unquote. And she's supposed to light up the tree for everybody, but she gets kidnapped by the Penguin and they blame it on the Batman.
Yes, and then Selena and Bruce's date is cut short because they both need to be there to both do the respective things as Batman and Catwoman. I cannot take all this emotional stuff.
Man, just pull yourself together, hug your little bear, and let's move on. So Batman shows up there to save the showgirl person, but then Catwoman is there, and they get into this big fight, and the Penguin's there too, and the whole goal is basically to get to the showgirl to a position where she is scared by bats and falls and dies, which causes all our bats to go all crazy, and while all of this is going on, somehow these group of circus people have gotten the blueprints to the Batmobile, and they're somehow figured out a way to take out the armor, sending some kind of signal. These circus people have figured it out, and now they're taking it apart and adding like some kind of new mechanism to the Batmobile.
Why, yes, then we have this fight scene between Batman and Catwoman where they fall under mistletoe, and then like she licks his face in a weird kissing thing, but it's very weird, and they both exchange words about mistletoe. Like Batman says that if you eat mistletoe, it's deadly, and she says a kiss is deadlier if you mean it, but I don't know anything about that. Do you, Scullo?
Nah, man, I wish I had more experience in that because I don't think anybody that ever actually kissed me meant it. I think they were just trying to get away from me, but I don't know, it's why some people have to disappear. But moving on, we go to the fact that the penguin thinks that this is all to build their own relationship, but she's like, yeah, I wouldn't touch you, weirdo, with a 10-foot pole. So he tries and kills her, I guess for like the umpteenth time she's died. But after this, we then move along to the storyline where Batman gets in his Batmobile that now is taken over by the penguin.
Why, yes, and then the penguin starts providing more chaos in America using the Batmobile. I still don't understand how these circus people could do this with the Batmobile, but the penguin's in his little miniature Batmobile driving it around, and Batman's figuring it out, but he's also recording him for future reference,
Yes, but then Batman figures out what is controlling the Batmobile, and he rips it out, and he stops himself from killing an old lady, but then he has to escape from the police because they're hunting him down because they believe that he caused all of these problems and chaos in the city. But he also took a recording of the penguin for the next day when the penguin has this meeting where he wants to be elected as mayor, and they want to recall the current mayor. But then Batman uses this technology of frequency, hacking the frequency and pulling through all of what the penguin said to him while driving around about the city, which is pretty dumb for the penguin. Here's a future reference. Never say something that you don't want to have heard to everybody, because one day somebody will be recording that and throw it right in your face.
Why, yes, and then the people all turn on him because of everything that he said and start throwing tomatoes and lettuce and all kinds of stuff at the penguin, and Max leaves him to fend for himself, with no support.
Yeah, it's very weird, the fact that a bunch of, people coming to hear his speech came with, tomatoes, lettuce, and all kinds of other crap to throw at the candidate. I mean, who does that? I mean, why would anybody want to throw something at some person, even if they are a piece of human trash? I'm just saying.
True, Scullo, but we must move on with the storyline. After all of this garbage is thrown on the penguin, he goes into the sewers and he's going to enact his original plan, which is to steal all the firstborn sons of Gotham. Isn't that a horrible thing to do?
Yeah, well, revenge is revenge. Well, all this is going on. Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle go to Max's party, and Selina decides that she wants to kill him to stop him from doing all of his heinous acts as a billionaire person. I don't know. But then the penguin crashes it and says, I'm stealing all of your children, and he tries to take Max's son, but Max points at the fact that it would be better if you take him, because wouldn't you want me to die? And the penguin's like, sure, so he takes Max instead of his son.
Why, yes, and then also Bruce Wayne and Selina Kyle figure out that they're Batman and Catwoman and they don't know what to do. But then after the penguin intervenes and tells them the plan, Batman goes out and he stops all the child kidnappings and saves all the kids, which leads the penguin in his very precarious position.
Yeah, because the penguin actually was going to take all the firstborns and drown them all, and then he was going to drown Max as a final, aha, to Gotham. But then after his plan is thwarted, he takes all of his penguins and straps bombs to them to go up, blow up Gotham City to kill hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, Batman figures this out and he has Alfred block the frequency of the penguins and return them home to the zoo, and Batman goes there on his bat boat to try to stop the penguin and end all of this.
Yeah, then all of the penguin's goons desert him and he tries to escape, but Batman stops him, and it comes out to this final battle. Batman shows that he's taken control of all the penguins because they're wearing a headset that gives them a frequency to go and do whatever they need to do, and then Penguin steals it from Batman and presses it and destroys the abandoned zoo, and all the penguins are blowing things up, and then the penguin falls into the sewer zoo pot.
Well, then Max figures a way to use a monkey to escape because the monkey has the keys, and as he's trying to escape, he is caught by Catwoman. But luckily for him, he finds a gun at the bottom of the sewer zoo thing, and it comes down to this final altercation between Max and Catwoman. And then Batman shows up, and Batman's like, Selina, you don't have to be like this, and she's like, no, this is who I am, and whatnot. And then Max starts shooting people.
But then Catwoman pulls out the tasers and gives Max a nice kiss of her frying, and it explodes this electrical field thing, and then they both presumably die.
Isn't that so sad? But then the penguin rises from the waters and he's going to get an umbrella gun.
But he grabs the wrong umbrella, so he does nothing to Batman, but then he succumbs to his injuries and dies. Then some of his penguins appear and they drag him into the water where his body goes for a final resting place.
And then in the end, Bruce Wayne is driving around Gotham looking to try to find Selina Kyle if she's still alive. And in the final shot, we see Selena looking over the city in the Catwoman costume with the bat symbol up in the air.
Yes, and with Max and Penguin out of the picture, that it will end our movie. But I forgot this major scene earlier on. I'm so upset that I forgot about it. But it was like where Alfred and Bruce were talking, and Bruce brought up the fact that Alfred just let Vicky Vale into the Batcave while he was working. It was a really funny scene.
Well, to me, it wasn't that funny because I thought that, Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne would come together, but they broke up off screen somewhere, and now he was trying to date Selena Kyle, but that didn't work out, so now Batman's alone again. But he did pick up the cat in the end. I forgot about that. But now we will talk about our thoughts on the movie.
Well, obviously, I love the movie because Catwoman is in it. And, the Penguin's there, and he's an alright villain, and then the Max character's alright, and, Batman's going around beating up people, killing people like usual.
Well, Batman doesn't kill people, alright? I'm gonna move on. Well, my thoughts of the movie. I thought it was an alright movie. I mean, the love story was very different from the first one, and I'm always a little bit of a romantic, so it was good to see this different kind of a relationship between two people that are trying to be different people at sometimes. Kind of a psychotic thing, but, it was a good movie,
Right, and so since I was cut off last time, I'll leave you all on something different. Now you can like and subscribe all you want to do all the YouTube things to give us your support. But also, I will conclude us on this last point. If you do not do all of the YouTube things, I may as well just go and see you in your nightmares.
Scholar, we have finished now Batman Returns, which is still kind of a dark movie. Could we now do something more lighthearted, like, I don't know, maybe a love story or anything else,
I don't know, man. We still probably should continue on to the Squid Games. We've started that up, so we should just keep rolling with that, and all that kind of happy and fun crap.
Well, come on, Scholar, let's do something happy, something fun and exciting, something that doesn't give me nightmares, the good, happy, fun content that's out there. There's not only dark and dreary stuff, there's all kinds of things out there. Why can't we do something else?
Maybe one day, but right now I'm not in the mood for this conversation. So I'm just gonna leave, take my booze, go get wasted, and have a good time. So you, Reddo, can just have a nice day, fiddle with the camera, do whatever you have to do, and also on top of everything else, just screw you. Bye.
Wow, Skull, I can't believe you said that to me. I thought we would have a good repertoire now. But now you're walking away? Really? Really? Okay. Well, maybe next time I won't show up. Then you have to record a whole video by yourself. Huh? What do you think about that? Oh, you're already gone. Fine. I'll just go fix the camera.